Hey everyone, it's George. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. This is a third video I'm making about another area just outside of Lisbon that you may consider when you're looking to buy property or rent. You don't want to be in Lisbon, but you want to be around Lisbon, and that is Carcavelos in Parede. I put both of those areas together because when you're looking online, often like Idealista, they'll put both of these municipalities together. So I was just at a property that I was looking on behalf of someone a couple of days ago in Parede, and it was really a beautiful property. He may need to bulldoze and build over, meaning a great lot in a great neighborhood, close to international schools, fire department close by, police close by, lots of shops, grocery stores, public transportation. But the property itself is from the 40s and probably needs to be gutted and renovated. We'll see what he does with that. But in walking around and looking at several other properties in these areas, again, you have the transportation that gets you into Lisbon very easily, either in the southern part along the river by the train station, or buses go in and throughout these neighborhoods. It's a good area, especially if you are looking at moving with kids and if you're considering potentially private schools. There's a couple of private schools that are not far from this particular area. And if you're looking, again, on the map, I always try to show the area that I'm speaking of so you get a feel juxtaposition. So these areas butt up right next to Estoril and Cascais. They're not cheap properties. Many of these properties are 2 and 3 stories, or they're big lots of land. So they're big homes, or the apartments are bigger. There are some older properties mixed in here, but there's a lot of stuff. When I say older, for example, the property I looked at was from the 40s, but it was renovated in the 60s, and they even did more renovations in the 80s. So there's just bigger opportunities for places there, meaning there may be a 200 to 300 square meter home, and then there's another 400 to 500 square meters of property where you can have a pool or a garden or maybe even a second home on the potential property. So this is an area I put some of the Idealista listings of rents. It's hard to find probably rental properties under 1,000 here, probably going to be close to 2,000 and up in many cases, depending on what you're looking for, of course. And then purchasing 300,000 or less, going to be very difficult to find something unless it's a complete renovation or it's a lot. But there are many lots in this area that are going for 400, 500, 600,000 euros. So just keep that in mind. This is not for the bargain hunter. This is more someone that is looking for property that is $500,000 and up. There are many areas here, and even $1 million and up. There are several places in both Carcavelos and Parede that are above $1 million or 2-3 million euros. But it is a really nice neighborhood, neighborhoods, sorry. And I think it's a really good area that not many people talk about. It's just, can you afford it? The reason I haven't brought it up before, and I was a little leery about making the video, is that it's in many ways close to Cascais and Estoril for pricing. So if you're going to do that, many people just venture and keep going west to, let's say, Cascais. But I think it's an area to consider. There's a lot of opportunity, I think, if you're buying a place. Maybe you can negotiate a better price than what you see on the agency sites or an Idealista. But it has all the infrastructure, the shops, the groceries, all those things that you may want and need, but it doesn't have a Lisbon zip code or a Cascais zip code. So again, another area to consider. When I walk through the neighborhoods, I feel that they're very middle class or upper middle class in respect, quiet. You do have kids playing on the street, which is always nice to see. People seem to keep them themselves. I would say people have been very nice. The locals, when I've talked to them or tried to ask them about how long they've lived there, what keeps them there, oftentimes they've lived there a very long time, or they moved out from Lisbon, or their parents did in the 70s and 80s or even the 60s. So they've lived out there most of their lives. And many of them are surprised at the increase, the value of the homes. One gentleman yesterday was just shaking his head. He couldn't believe how much this person wanted for the property that I was looking at that was right next door to him. He just said that doesn't make sense. But it is how it is here in Greater Lisbon. So Carcavelos and Parede, along with next door, which I talked about recently, or Irish, are options. They're something that you can look at as potential opportunities. But in this specific video, in this specific area, it is more of an expensive area to be in. So don't know if this hits the mark or if anyone's going to be interested. But instead of putting Lisbon in the ideal list, if you wanted to be more specific, you could put these places in and see what comes up. Maybe there's something that resonates with you. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video, and enjoy your travels.